The Story of Bukit Kelam, a folklore from Sintang, narrated by Revka Darmayanti Putri Mahisa. Once upon a time, there lived two brothers from the descendants of gods who had high supernatural powers. They both were leaders in Sintang, West Borneo. Although they were brothers, both had different characteristics. The first brother name was Sebeji, or known as Bujang Beji. He had a destructive, spiteful, and greedy nature. No one could exceed his supernatural powers. Therefore, the surrounding community did not like him, which made him had few followers. Meanwhile, another brother named Temenggung Marubai had a helpful nature, noble-hearted, and humble, which was exactly the opposite of Bujang Beji. The two leaders made their main livelihood by fishing, in addition to farming and gardening. Bujang Beji and his followers controlled the river at Simpang Kapuas, while Temenggung Marubai controlled the river at Simpang Melawi. In the Simpang Melawi River, the fish were various and more numerous than the river in Simpang Kapuas. Every day, Temenggung Marubai always got more catches than Bujang Beji. Temenggung Marubai caught fish in the Simpang Melawi River using a giant bubu. It is a traditional fish trap made from bamboo sticks and partially covers the river current with stones so that fish would easily trapped into the bubu. The fish were then selected. Only the big fish were taken, while the small fish were released back into the river until they are big enough to be caught again. In this way, the fish in the river at Simpang Melawi would never run out and continued to breed. Knowing this, Bujang Beji became jealous of Temenggung Marubai. He didn't want to lose and went to catch fish in the river at Simpang Kapuas by Menuba. At first, the fish that Bujang Beji caught could exceed the catch of Temenggung Marubai. However, he did not realize that catching fish using Menuba would gradually destroy the fish in the Simpang Kapuas River. It is because not only big fish were caught, but small fish also died. As a result, the catch was getting smaller day by day, while Temenggung Marubai still got an abundant catch. This made Bujang Beji even more jealous and envious of Temenggung Marubai. "It's bad. I can't let the situation continue," Bujang Beji muttered angrily. After thinking for some time, he got an idea to close the Melawi River with a large rock at the upper reaches of the Melawi River. This would block the fish to settle in the upper reaches of the river. Bujang Beji then decided to lift the top of Bukit Batu in Nangasilat Kapuas Hulu with his powerful magic. Because of the distance between Bukit Batu and the upper reaches of the Melawi River was quite far, he tied the top of the hill with 7 wheat leaves. On the way to his destination, Bujang Beji suddenly heard women's voice laughing at him. Without realizing it, the goddesses in heaven had been watching him. When he was about to reach the Kapuas Melawi intersection, he looked up to see the faces of the goddesses who were laughing at him. However, suddenly his feet stepped on a poisonous thorn. "Ouch!" cried Bujang Beji while prancing around in pain. Immediately, the 7 leaves of wheat that were used to tie the top of the hill were cut off. As a result, the top of the rock fell and sank in a region called Jetak. He was so furious and yelling to the goddesses while stomping his foot that had a poisonous thorn into one of the surrounding hills. After that, he immediately raised an elongated hill to pry out the top of Bukit Batu, which was immersed on the coast. However, Bukit Batu was already attached to Jetak, so the long hill that was used to pry it out was split into 2. In the end, Bujang Beji failed to move the stone to cover the upper reaches of the Melawi River. He was angry and intended to take revenge on the goddesses who had laughed at him. Bujang Beji then planted a kumpang mambu tree. He would use it to reach heaven to destroy the goddesses who ruined his plan. Within few days, the tree flourished and rose high into the sky. Even the peak was not visible. Before climbing the tree, Bujang Beji performed a traditional offering ceremony called Bedara Begela to feed all the animals and evil spirits around him to make his plan running smoothly. But in the ceremony, there were some animals that Bujang Beji forgot. Thus, they could not enjoy the offerings. There were termites and bears. They were very angry because they felt belittled by Bujang Beji. They then held a meeting to abort Bujang Beji's plan to reach heaven. "What should we do, Bear King?" asked the Termite King to the Bear King at the meeting. "We will destroy the Kumpang Mambu tree," replied the Bear King. "But how?" asked the Termite King curiously. "We can gnawing at the roots of the tree when Bujang Beji is climbing it," explained the Bear King. After hearing the great idea, all meeting participants agreed with the Bear King's opinion. The next day, Bujang Beji climbed the tree. The termites and bears also came to gnaw at the roots of the tree. Because there were so many of them, the large and tall Kumpang Mambu tree began to wobble. When Bujang Beji was about to reach heaven, suddenly he fell along with the tree. "Help! Help!" He screamed for help, but no one could help. The tree fell in the upper reaches of Sungai Kapuas Hulu, precisely in Danau Luar and Danau Belida. Bujang Beji died instantly. Therefore, his bad intention to destroy the goddesses failed, and Temenggung Marubai was saved from the disaster that Bujang Beji was planned. According to the story, Bujang Beji's body was divided by the local people to be used as a magic talisman. Meanwhile, the peak of Nangasilat Hill, which was released from Bujang Beji's shoulders, was transformed into Dark Hill, or known as Bukit Kelam. The long hill that Bujang Beji used to pry the stone out became Bukit Liut. As for the hill that became the place where Bujang Beji stepped on a poisonous thorn, it was named Rentap Hill.